Here we have a payoff for both defensive Dan in shaded purple and sprayer Sue in the areas that's not shaded purple. So to examine the equilibrium, and in this case, the Nash equilibrium that we believe to be the long-term stable strategy, is we need to consider each farmer's perspective given what the other farmer is doing. So for defensive Dan has options of planting extend soybean and other herbicide resistant technology soybean. Sprayer Sue has options of spraying successful and unsuccessful. If Dan um, assumes that sprayer Sue will spray successful, his payoff would be 3 if he plants extend and 5 if planting other technologies. So 5 is greater than 3. So seemingly it would be preferred that he plant other. But if he assumes that Sue sprays unsuccessful, his payoff is 3. Again, if he planted extend, but only 1 if he planted other. Before Dan can really make a decision here, we need to examine Sue's perspective. If sprayer Sue sprays successful, she enjoys a payoff of 3 when Dan plants extend or other herbicide technology. So she's sort of indifferent in that case. If Sue sprays unsuccessful, she would enjoy a payoff of 5, regardless of Dan's choice of extend or other herbicide technology. But from Sue's perspective, 5 is greater than 3. So she will always opt for unsuccessful spray over successful spray. Knowing Sue's behavior, Dan's optimal strategy would be to plant extend because a payoff of 3 given Sue's unsuccessful spray is greater than a payoff of 1 if Dan had chosen other technology when Sue had sprayed unsuccessful. So in other words, the Nash equilibrium would be for Dan to plant extend and Sue to spray unsuccessful, even though on the surface it would look like Dan may opt for other, but we expect it to be extend soybean for Dan and unsuccessful spray for Sue. In another scenario, and in our fact sheet, this is scenario number 3. It's very similar to the scenario 1, but there is a penalty for unsuccessful spray when damage occurs to other herbicide technology soybean. So the only difference here is for Sue, when she sprays unsuccessful and Dan chooses other herbicide technology, instead of a 5, Sue realizes a payoff of 3. So 3 is less than 5. If we use the same logic as before, looking at the strategies of each player, we have not 1, but 2 equilibrium points here. We have the original one where Dan's plants extend and Sue sprays unsuccessful. But given this small change, well, the change may be actually more severe than it appears of unit of 2. This is a penalty large enough to cause a practice change in the community. The other strategy is this one where Dan plants other and Sue sprays successful. And the idea is the penalty of unit 2, 5 minus 2 is 3. For Sue would encourage some changes in spray from Sue as well as variety choice from Dan's perspective. So we have 2 stable equilibriums in this example. And this is scenario number 3 from our fact sheet. So when we consider the stable equilibrium of extend soybeans planted by Dan and unsuccessful spray by Sue, from Sue's perspective, she's enjoying a payoff of 5. If Sue changes decision, she can go to 3, which she probably will not do. And Dan can go from a 3 to a 1, which he probably would not do. So this would be a stable equilibrium. But likewise, from Sue's perspective, if we're here, she could change from successful to unsuccessful, but she would not gain anything. She'd be the same at 3 regardless. But Dan is enjoying a payoff of 5 here and of a planting other. And so 5 is greater than 3. So he is not likely to change decision here. So in this case, there is a 2 stable strategies such that Dan will likely devote some soybean acreage to both Xtend and to other herbicide technologies. This has been our attempt at explaining one of the many dilemmas that farmers have that we're calling the farmer's dilemma about the use of herbicides as well as herbicide resistant varieties that are available. This fact sheet is on agmanager.info, along with these videos and the podcast recorded from KSRE Ag Today Radio. This has been a great project with economists and ag attorneys and weed scientists across not only Kansas State University, but some other colleagues. We hope you find this thought-provoking and helpful in your farm management decision-making practices.